Hey guys, it's Thomas here. We have a brand new 2023 Honda Grom. It's a nice rainy day, so what better time to do a nice Fender Eliminator mod? Because everybody knows this is the ugliest thing on a Honda Grom because of state laws. I guess the tag has to be farther than the back wheel, so they have this ugly extender fender here, and it just looks ugly. So we're gonna be getting rid of that today. I'm gonna show you guys how to do it really quickly. It is not all that difficult. I picked this up on Amazon for 60 bucks, I think, if that. And it comes with all the parts you need. You can retain your factory lights and everything. So if you're worried about all that, I'll be showing you how to go through it, but it should be a relatively simple upgrade. And all you should need is a screwdriver with some Torx bits and a 10mm ratchet. But yeah, let's go on and jump on into this. All right, so first thing you're gonna need, just your regular ignition key here. Comes with all of your Groms. And there is a little key slot right here. All you have to do is put your key in, twist it, and then this seat should pop up. It is a little difficult sometimes. That pops out, slides out, and then you're open to everything underneath. All right, so once you get the seat off, there's gonna be a little plug here on the side that you're gonna wanna take off. There is a small little clip right up in here. Use a little flathead, pry it up, pop off that clip, you get that loose. Then you have 4 10mm bolts, one here, 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 and here. You take those loose, and then you should just be able to slide it down. You got these 2 little pins here that are kind of holding it in. You just kind of slide it down, pull that wire out, and then you'll have the whole fender out in one piece. So here we have the whole assembly out. As you can see, it's all one, those 4 screws, and then your plug. The best way I found in order to get the plug out is you have to kind of peel this down just a little bit, kind of push it, and you gotta get it under this bracket here. So once you kind of push this down, you can see there's a little bit of movement down there. So that way you can kind of fish it out and then pull it down, and then it just comes right out the bottom with that hole right there. So it's actually pretty easy. So this next part I found easier to do with it off the bike. You just have 4 Phillips head and a single 10mm that takes off this bottom bracket that allows you to get to your turn signal assembly. That way you can swap it over to the new fender, and then you can retain your factory turn signals. So once you have that back plate off, you have a 14mm for these 2 on the turn signals, and then down by your tail light down there, those are 8mm. So you should be able to just take those out, and then you should be able to get this wiring assembly out of here so we can swap it over to the next one. So once you get the 2 14mm out, which helps you slide these out, and then the 2 8s on the light bracket, you have this little pin here that is just welded on. You can just peel this clip up that allows you to get this free, pull this sleeve back, and then you have 4 spade connections on here. There's 2 on this one, and then these 2 here. You just have to take these loose, and then you should be able to pull the wires through each side in order to get the whole assembly free. So in order to get the tag light out of the bracket here, you do actually have to take off the 2 Phillips head screws that hold this on. This was already loose anyways, and you just have to pull this rubber boot. The light sits inside there. You just pull that out, and then that'll allow you to pull this back through the assembly. And then you have completely gotten rid of it entirely. So now I've got the turn signals, tail light, everything is back in where it needs to be. This next part is totally optional for you guys. I'm gonna do it because I don't like how this is set up. So typically, I guess this washer is supposed to go under here in this hole here or something. This hole right here. I don't really like it because if you can see, here it is, right here. I don't like having that as a giant hole to where it just lets water splash up from underneath. So what I did was I cut a little piece of gasket material here, and I just kind of lined it up, cut it, And then I'm gonna create a hole in here so that way we can fish the wires through and it's not as bad as a hole. That part is totally optional. You don't have to do that, but I'm just gonna do it because it's basically a brand new bike and I don't wanna let water get into the bike yet. So this part was definitely the hardest for me. I had just enough wire to get it up into here. And then of course fishing the wires through and then getting them connected again right here. It was very tight. It definitely takes two hands to get that part. But as you can see now, where is it? As you can see now, there's not really much of a hole other than right where it goes through. So that was my biggest worry. I didn't like having that giant hole down there. As you can see, there's very little light. I am gonna probably add just a dab of silicone here and here just to fill up those two holes. But now that that is together, this is pretty much how it sits. As you can see, it's a lot better this way. I don't know why they left such a giant hole for your wires to go through. It just leaves plenty of room for water to get up in there, especially through the tiny fender back here. So I'm gonna tighten these things together and then we'll get it all put back together. So now that I have all four of these bolts tight, 1, 2, 3, and 4, it is a 10mm on top. And if you use a Torx bit underneath, it is a number 30 if that helps you guys. If not, you could always get it hand tight and then try to use the ratchet for the rest of it. But it was the number 30 for what I had, and then those two are together. So now I'm going to tuck all these wires underneath again, and then we will test it out. So here, as you can see, I've got it all hooked up. I've got the LED light in there now, so that should be nicer. And then let's try out the turn signals. So here is left turn signal working properly. Here is the right turn signal working properly. So I did just put a dab of silicone on each of those holes just to seal them up so that way you have no water other than probably that small little hole in there if you get any from there. So that's all this. Put the seat back on and then you have a new Fender kit. All right, here you go. Here's the final product. This is the Kemimoto tag bracket, fully installed. And as you can see, underneath here, there you go. Not much of a hole like there used to be. So that is the overall finished product.